travel is just opens the mind to wonderful possibilities of seeing new things and meeting new people.
Back on Closer Look on this Wednesday. Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief, is here. I'm Scott Sexsmith. Derek Turner is here as well. I'm going to make a guarantee. Tonight's program will not last an hour and 47 minutes.
Is that how long the State of the Union was? An hour 47 minutes?
An hour 46, hour 47. I tuned out after like 43 minutes.
Yeah.
I wanted to see how the whole hockey team thing got treated. Yeah. Holy jumping.
It was awkward. It was hard to watch that part.
Yeah.
Now, not all the players showed up, right? Some of them didn't come for that.
Yeah.
And it was they were quite the prop. I felt like that was the longest part of the speech was what. And I said yesterday we weren't going to talk about hockey anymore. I know, but it made me want Canada to win even more watching that.
Yeah, I kind of chuckled to myself when he was screaming into his overmodulated microphone. And it was all distorted. But you're right. It's almost like those players were treated as political props,
yes,
for his advantage.
Absolutely. I feel like that's why maybe some of them didn't show up.
Well,
it was amazing to me that President Trump held back, though, because he didn't make a single jab at Canada. All he said was they beat the very talented Canadian team. I thought for sure the 51st state stuff was all coming again, and it didn't.
I did too. I was watching CNN's pregame coverage. And they made a point several times that it was critically important that he stay on script and not ad lib. There was a couple of times that he kind of veered.
There was one great when he looked at the Democrats and said, "You people are all crazy. You're crazy." I mean, I've never seen a State of the Union when they go off the rails like that.
I know. I couldn't imagine working on his comms team. Could you imagine?
I know. I'm not a political expert. That is the state of their union right now, Scott. That's where it's at. And after it was always fascinating when it's over.
Yeah.
The people who love Trump this was the greatest speech of all time. He hit a home run. He nailed it. And the people who hate Trump are just devastated by what he's saying and horrified by what he's saying.
You know what, though? I'll say this. Having watched what I watched last night, I kind of like the state of our union.
Yes.
In comparison to the state of theirs.
Yes. It's a whole feels like two different worlds. What it is right now.
It's completely two different worlds. All right. Let's get to March break travel. It's not far off.
Yeah.
And a lot of the usual go-to places for Canadians seem to be in a little bit of peril lately.
It's a great segue. America being one of them. A lot of people, we've done this on the show already. The numbers are down. People are not traveling to the United States like they have in the past. Snowbirds are not choosing the U.S.
Right.
But now some of the other places that snowbirds are choosing instead, Mexico, Cuba, all kinds of internal problems there. We've seen the violence in certain parts of Mexico after the killing of a cartel leader there. I didn't realize 26,000 Canadians in Mexico right now.
Wow.
So that's people that must live there. They live there part-time. They're vacationing. 26,000 Canadians in Mexico. And a lot of them have we seen on the news, both all over the country, but on some of our local sites here at Village too, reporting about locals who are there.
Right, yeah.
Sending photos and videos of what they're experiencing, being on lockdown. Things seem to have settled a bit now. Some Canadian flights are coming back into Mexico. But if you're a person who's going to go to Mexico in a couple of weeks for the March break, are you still going to go?
It's a good question.
It's a tough question. That's what we're going to talk about today. And then with Cuba, there's all kinds of fuel issues and whether there's enough fuel to fill a plane to go back. Are you going to go to Cuba? I don't know. So if you want to go somewhere hot, what are the options? There's not a heck of a lot.
No.
Which raises the other question of, A, should I go anywhere? Or B, if I want to go somewhere, where else can I go? And I think that's what we're going to talk about today. Who's our guest today?
Our guest today is the travel expert here at Village Media, Lorraine Simpson. And Lorraine is going to answer all of those questions and more for us. Did you book a flight somewhere hot for the March break? Chances are you may not be feeling really great about that decision right now. Cartel violence in Mexico, fuel shortages in Cuba, and, of course, the trade wars south of the border have a lot of people rethinking their March break plans. Should they get on that plane or cancel? Here to help us walk through that dilemma is Village Media's travel expert, Lorraine Simpson. Lorraine, great to see you. What part of the world are you in today?
I'm in Ireland, and this is my most of the time base because it's really great. I work a lot with Africa and a lot with Canada, so I'm kind of in the middle. And I'm at Lemonade Cottages, which is our passion project, and where we bought 5 derelict cottages and have upgraded them to beautiful, lovely little accommodations to rent.
Yes, and they are stunning. Okay, Lorraine, let's start with the big news of the week, the violence that erupted in the Mexican state of Jalisco, which includes Puerto Vallarta. Now, after the killing of a cartel leader, lots of Canadians were there, locked down and afraid. What went through your mind as you watched all of that news unfold?
Oh, not another thing. It was just one more thing for poor Mexico and poor travel as well. It's just seeming to be that the world is shrinking. Where can we go? Where's going to give me an issue? Is there somewhere where I'm going to feel safe? And that is the biggest thing, is where can I go where I feel actually safe to travel to? And unfortunately, now Mexico's always felt a little bit dodgy in certain areas. But I have to admit, I feel like this situation will blow over pretty quickly. It was fairly isolated. It was personal. It was an individual. So it was personal. And I think that it will blow over pretty quick. So I'm not too concerned about this situation now. If it was, you've had hurricanes, you've had swine flu. Gosh, I remember swine flu, the pandemic. Travel is always what's affected, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so it seems as though things have somewhat stabilized. With some Canadian flights resuming to the region. So bottom line, if I have a flight booked to Mexico for the March break, am I safe to get on it, in your opinion?
Yeah. I think so. So one of the things I always say to people is go on to the British advisories, the travel advisories that are on the British websites, because they seem to be a little bit more in depth and a little bit more subjective as well. And so if you go onto the UK government advisories, you'll often see a different type of decision, if you like, from that. And I feel like, even the airlines, Air Canada, they're very quick to pull out of places that they don't feel safe. Air Canada and Porter and WestJet have all resumed flights already to Puerto Vallarta. So I feel it's going, as I said, it's going to blow over pretty quickly on this one. And it was an isolated incident. Remember when we had, when Donald Trump was elected and there was the January 6 insurgents in Washington, and you had this situation where, there was massive problems and people fighting on the streets. It reminds me a little bit of that. It blew over. It wouldn't stop you going to the States. Now, other things may stop you going to the States, but let's not talk about that right now.
Well, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that one.
Right. But for the time being, that was an isolated incident. And I think this one in Puerto Vallarta, Guadalajara, I don't know if I'd go to Guadalajara. But Puerto Vallarta, definitely, it's much more touristy. I know people that are there at the moment, and I wouldn't worry, honestly. I would feel that I would go there, personally.
That's good context.
Places like Cancun and the Mayan Riviera, that's all safe too.
Totally. It's a long way away from this. I remember years ago when I first came to Canada, it was in the early 2000s, and it was the bird flu situation. And I remember hearing the press about how you would literally step off the plane and die. If you landed in Toronto or Vancouver, you're going to step off the plane and die instantly from bird flu, So it's a bit like that. It's the press, as much as I'm part of the press, it does get blown out of proportion quite a bit. And so I don't feel that this particular one is too much to worry about as other things,
Yes, we always get accused of either blowing things out of proportion or you're ignoring that. Why aren't you telling? Why aren't you writing more about that? Right? I remember the bird flu. That was crazy times. Yeah. Same question that Scott has, but for Cuba, fuel issues. Lots of news coverage about Cuba. Would you get on a plane to Cuba on the March break?
No, I really wouldn't. And I feel so sad to say this, and I feel really, really bad because it's the people of Cuba that are going to be hurt the most in this situation. However, when you're going into a country where supplies are very limited and are being strangled, and more supplies are difficult to get. Whether it's, yes, the fuel at the moment is the problem, but it's also, you can actually get on a plane and go via Jamaica, let's say, because there's still planes coming in from Jamaica. There's still planes coming in from Dominican. So you can still get there, but I would not go. Because let's say you had an accident. Let's say you hurt yourself getting into a pool or something, which, it can happen to any of us. You can stub your toe and end up getting sepsis. You need medication. And if the medication isn't available and the fuel isn't available to keep the lights on in the hospitals and things like that, no, I would not go to Cuba at the moment. Now, would I go to Cuba in the future? Yes, but I think it's going to need a huge overhaul, maybe a government overhaul, to actually get to that point where we are able to go to Cuba. But right now, no, sorry, I would not. I wouldn't recommend it at all.
Yeah, this might be a loaded, detailed question, but so if I am a passenger who has a flight booked to Cuba, can I just cancel it and say, oh, look, things are too rough over there? Will they let you, or what are the rules?
Yeah, 100%. It is a situation where there are what they call waivers. So all the airlines are offering waivers, and they're allowing you to rebook or cancel completely for a full refund, which is something. If they have cancelled your flight, you're entitled to a full and outright refund. I also would not recommend even booking Cuba for the rest of the year. I wouldn't say this year. Let's say you're going for a destination wedding. And I've done over 1,500 destination weddings because my business started out doing destination weddings. Wow. I'm far too old and menopausal now for it. But when we used to do destination weddings, we would do about 100 weddings a year. Now, this is a much more important event for you to be risking a situation where things could be a problem. So I would say avoid it. As much as I love Cuba, the people are lovely and everything, it's just not worth the risk at the moment. Let it settle down. It may take a year. Let it settle down and become what it should be again. But at the moment, nah. I wouldn't.
I hear you. Okay. I think I might have lied because this question might be even more loaded than the last one. What are you telling people? This has been a debate. We've had other experts on this show over the last year. What about the U.S. question? What are you saying to clients, to people who ask you, Lorraine, should I go to Florida? What do I do?
Sure, if you want to go to Florida, why not? I mean, if you, as a Canadian, want to go to Florida, they will welcome you with open arms. That is absolutely the case. They are really desperate for the Canadian money. They're really desperate for the Canadian tourists. They miss you very much. And if you are willing to go to Canada, to the USA, great, absolutely. The prices will be good. And sorry, I'm shifting here. The prices will be good, and you will enjoy, your time. However, most Canadians do not want to support, and I completely understand this, and I fully understand where they're coming from. So therefore, there's lots of places that you can choose to go to instead. And right now, that is not Florida, unfortunately. But if you did want to go, it's not unsafe in any way, right? It's not an unsafe place for you to go to. Yeah. But it's just that the Canadians have banded together. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people. They've said, no, don't mess us about. Don't treat us like this. Don't come back to us with, you have a tariff and you have a tariff and you have a tariff. Oh, I'm going to take the tariff away. Oh, I'm going to give you another tariff. Oh, I'm going to take the tariff away. What the heck, Yes. No, stop it. And so therefore the Canadians are totally against the whole mess up of the situation in the USA. And some people, I was booking something for somebody today. They're heading to Dubai and then India. And I offered them, the best price was going via, I feel like it was Chicago. Anyway, a US city. They said, no. Oh. We don't even want to connect through the US. And I don't blame them. I have to say, my brother is a pilot for an airline. and he's been a pilot for 30 years. He said he will never fly through the USA airspace. He said because they're having so many problems with their air traffic control. He said, I don't even want to fly through. It's not safe. What they actually do with the aircraft is they say that it's called eyes on the ground. So they'll actually say to the pilot, do you have eyes on the ground? The pilot says, yes. And that's okay. And at that point, they move to another aircraft and take care of another aircraft. Well, that's all fine and dandy, unless you've got a helicopter where you can't actually see it off to your right, which is what happened there with the helicopter crash, Yeah. So it's not safe. The air traffic control doesn't have enough staff, and I don't feel like it's a safe option, really.
So we'll check that off our list too. So no Mexico, no Cuba, no U.S. Okay.
Travel by train. Okay, so let's talk about those options, Lorraine. If we're taking Cuba, Mexico, and the U.S. off the table, where should we be going? What are our options?
Sorry, it's are you talking to me here? No, I'm kidding. Well, no. So, in all seriousness, there are still places to go. Definitely, the east coast of Mexico is still a safe. Mayan Riviera, definitely a safe option to go to, and probably your best bet at the moment, because actually, the issues that happened on the west coast of Mexico have brought the prices down for the east coast of Mexico, because now everybody thinks Mexico. And so it's actually brought the prices down for Mexico. So it's not a bad thing. So March break, you're going to find that there are actually some deals to be had in Cancun and Riviera Maya. In Mexico, because of the West Coast, which is thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away. The other airport, there's an airport in Cancun, which is now Tulum. It's a brand new airport. Again, a very good option because it's new. It's a new place to fly into. So that's an option for people to look at. And then you've got places that are up and coming, like Guadalupe, Grenada, Aruba, Curacao. And one of the things I will say is when people are searching, particularly for March break, when you search, don't just search all-inclusive, because you may find an all-inclusive might cost you $4,000 and a non-all-inclusive might cost you $3,000. But are you really going to spend $1,000 on drinks during that week? Because you'll still get, your breakfast and perhaps a meal, an evening meal as well included if you do half board. So
if I say yes, will you judge me, Lorraine? If I say yes, I'm going to spend another.
No judgment here. No judgment here. But all-inclusive isn't always what it's cracked up to be. Like, I grew up in England. England, we never had all-inclusive. So we would be buying our own meals. We would be buying our own drinks, I've never been a big drinker. So for me, it's actually fine. It's not good value for me because I'm never going to be your buffet style person. But you often find that if you go to a place that is all-inclusive, it might be not very good quality. The food isn't as good quality as perhaps you might like. And let's talk about what you spend at home, right? If you spend at home, would you go out twice a week for dinner? Okay, how much are you spending? Well, let's say you spend that money just on a trip plus a bit. You're saving so much money. You may as well just enjoy it and go and have some decent food for a change, and not worry about your plastic cups and your watered down alcohol.
Lorraine, what about domestic travel? Are Canadians discovering travel within our own country more now?
Yes, definitely. We're the best. I mean, I say we. I'm not really a Canadian. I'm not a Canadian-born person, but I feel like I'm Canadian as many. But we're very, very supportive of homegrown places like Victoria, Vancouver Island, and out Haida Gwaii and the East Coast, where I haven't been to the East Coast. And one of my bucket list things to do of all around the world, of anywhere at all in the entire planet I could go, one of my bucket list places is to have an RV trip on the East Coast. That is what I would love to do. There are even cruises along the East Coast. There's beautiful, like you can see so much. Quebec City, fabulous, fabulous foodie destination. Montreal, of course, everybody loves Montreal. And there's just so many places that people can go to. And I think that Canada, Destination Canada, which is I would say the tourism board for Canada, places in Canada itself, has come up with so many more options for people to stay in Canada. And the problem has always been the pricing of the flights. The airlines will really sting you on those flight costs to get to these places. And I think that's always going to be the same. But if you look at companies like Flair, Porter Airlines has some great flights across Canada now. Flair Airlines, great flights across Canada as well. And even Sunwing and Air Canada Vacations, just do a search where you don't rule out Canada, because there's really some stunning, stunning destinations. Everywhere I go in the world, if I say I live in Canada, they always say, oh, I'd love to go to Canada. So why don't we enjoy it as much as visitors would to the country?
All right, that's a great point, Lorraine. Dumb question for me. I'm not a huge traveler, but if I want to do a last-minute deal, what's the right balance? Do you wait till like 2 days before, a day before? Like, what's the best time to grab one of those last-minute deals?
Last minute doesn't exist, and my last minute is a myth.
See, I asked the real question.
If you were ever to go to the airport, you didn't realize who you were having on. Come on, you know me. I'm going to tell it straight.
I love it.
So if you were ever to go to an airport and book a flight last minute, like straight up at the airport, okay, take me anywhere you want, it will be the most expensive flight you've ever booked in your life. Yes. Because what happens is the airlines will say, I'm sorry, you're clearly desperate, so therefore I'm going to sting you for the most expensive flight. Because what happens on a flight, let's say you've got 450 seats. Of those 450 seats, maybe 50 of them will be business class. The rest are all economy. But none of those 400 are the same price. And what happens is, depending on when you book, it's not where you sit. You'll be sitting next to somebody who's paid a totally different. It's all about when you book. So if you book it in September for next August, then you're going to pay the lowest cost possible, unless you get some kind of a deal on, Black Friday or something like that. But that 400 seats will all be, every single one of them will be different pricing, and it's all based on when you book. So the optimum time really is about 8 weeks prior, unless it is like a vacation time where a March break situation. That price is going to go up and up and up, and it's all about supply and demand. Right. So what you really want to do is look at 8 weeks in advance and try to book it then. Very, very last minute, you'll always get stung, unless it's not a premium time. And if it's not a premium time, then you may end up getting a bit of a deal if you're very flexible. And the key is flexibility. Look at anywhere, go anywhere, and then flexible on days, plus or minus 3 days, something like that. And say, okay, I'm willing to go anywhere, but make sure you look at the reviews, because sometimes you might find something that's really cheap. But why? What's the reason it's cheap? Look at those reviews. Look at what the food is. Has somebody been sick from food poisoning at this place that you're going to? Really, really do your research and check your reviews. Or use a travel agent. How many times do we say this? I mean, I know I'm a travel agent, but I don't sell travel as much because I'm busy with other stuff. But use your travel agent. Find a good travel agent and say to them, this is what I want, but I want it to be good. I want you to really check out the reviews, and I don't mind paying you a service fee. In order to do that, I want you to check out those reviews and make sure. But there's so many places that you can go that are further afield, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. But further afield is the key. That's the way to go, honestly.
All right. Good stuff. Lorraine, before we let you go, any last-minute tips or piece of advice to pass along?
Yeah. Don't rule out long haul. Because I found the other day, something for people going all the way to Dubai. Yeah, sure, it's only 5 days, but you're flying overnight. It was $3,400 for 5 nights in Dubai, and it was all inclusive at a 5-star Riu hotel. Now, we know Riu's from Canada. Canadians love Riu's. And I've been there myself personally, and it was really, really great. And it was $3,400, including the flight to Dubai for March break. So there definitely are deals to be had. Cruises, go on think about cruises. Last minute cruises. Very, very good option. You can drive to the cruise port. We always used to drive. When my husband passed away, he died right before Christmas, which was the 17th of December. And so years later, we always used to try and turn that into a nice, happier day. And we would get in the car and we'd drive down to Florida. We'd get on a cruise. We'd saved money on flights. And we get on a cheapy cruise, and we would spend Christmas on a cruise, which gave us that fun, enjoyable time to have something really nice to do as a family. And we saved the money on the flights. So I really recommend, doing your research, but when you look at the research, do not rule out long haul. Like you saw the other day, Scott, I posted something about a trip I'm doing in December, and it's to Thailand. 14 days, all in, like most of your meals, all your excursions, everything in for $4,400. No, actually, no, under $4,000 for a double occupancy. It's so good. The further you go, the pricing seems to be as good as the Caribbean, but you get more for your money. So don't rule out long haul. Africa, I could do an entire podcast on Africa, but I won't. But yeah, there's so many options now. Don't rule things out when you're looking at travel, particularly March break, particularly last minute. Think, well, it's going to take me a whole day to get to Costa Rica anyway. Why don't I do an overnight and take a whole day to get to, Thailand or Tanzania or whatever? Because it's going to take me that time anyway. And get on the plane with the attitude of, this is the start of my vacation. This is the fun part. And enjoy it. Travel is just opens the mind to wonderful possibilities of seeing new things and meeting new people. And there's no such thing as a bad travel experience. The only thing about a travel experience different, it's either somewhere you won't go back to, so it was an experience, or it's somewhere where you go, wow, that changed my life. And there's nothing in between. It's either an experience or life-changingly amazing. And that's about travel.
All right.
It's like this podcast episode. Life-changing for me, Lorraine. Thank you so much.
It's something.
That was great.
From Ireland tonight, a regular contributor here at Village Media, it's Lorraine Simpson. You can check her out at lorrainesimpson.com. Lorraine, thanks for this. Always good to see you.
Always great. Thank you so much, Scott. I really appreciate it. And today we've had no rain here in Ireland for the first time in a long time. So 5 hours flying, you could come here in a heartbeat. You're welcome anytime.
Now I want to book a trip.
Yeah.
I don't know where, but when I
thought you would have done it between the conversation and now.
When I look out the window, I really want to book a trip.
Yeah, let's look out the window.
Yeah.
Oh. Hello? Is there? We haven't been outside in weeks.
One day they'll let us up.
You know what? You have to tell. I obviously know Lorraine. I've read her stuff, and I know she's part of the Village team. What does she do for us, and how can more people read her stuff?
So we put out a weekly email called The Plus Side, which goes out to 60 or 70,000 people across the province every Friday morning at 9. She's a contributor to that, writes a weekly column about her travels, recommendations, tips, advice, that kind of thing. And you can also find it on our Village Life website each week as well. So, yeah, great contributor.
And how do you subscribe to the Plus Side?
You can now Derek will know this better than I.
Well, you don't know?
Well, He will explain it much more succinctly.
I don't know. Google it.
Go to your favorite Village Media site.
Yes.
And simply sign up for the plus side.
Right. Now, and you do that during the onboarding process, right? When you sign up for an account, you have the option to subscribe to different things.
Side. All right.
And the plus side should be one of them. It's a great email.
All right.
All right.
Good to know.
Good.
She was fantastic. That was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was terrific.
It does get you excited about travel. And it shows you what I'm not a huge traveler. And I assumed last minute deals were things everyone talks about them, but obviously she says they're not worth it.
Well, it's funny because it's the one thing that I tend to check. Like if I go on, aircanadavacations.com, for example, and there's a last minute deals tab. So I guess maybe that's not a thing.
Yeah. Maybe not. Anyways.
I want to go.
So bottom line, you can go to Mexico. Don't go to Cuba. That's what she said.
That's right.
That's a takeaway.
Do not go to Cuba this year.
Yeah, this year. Maybe next year.
And it's a shame because I still maintain, we've been to Cuba a few times, I still maintain that Cuba has the best beaches of anywhere in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Just spectacular.
Stay away, buddy. And if you do go to Florida, wear your Team Canada jersey just for good luck.
Damn right. Do it. Okay. Let's get out of here. Let's go.
Let's go out the window. Here. We'll open the window, get some fresh air.
You go first. I'll follow you. Closer look at villagemedia.ca. That's our email. Let us know if you're traveling this March break and where you're going. We'd love to hear from you. And, of course, you can sign up at closerlookpodcast.ca. Derek Turner, executive producer of this evening's program and each and every program, in fact. Michael Friscolanti is our editor-in-chief. I'm Scott Sexsmith. Thanks for your time tonight. See you tomorrow night at 7 right here on Closer Look.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.